Well, the old car is behind me. I'm not sure where to set up. Probably just outside the gates here. I'll put the generator through there. People that used to trap here before often just used to go in the car park, but I enjoy just here by the gates, either side of the gates. And because there's no breeze today, I don't have to sort of protect myself from the breeze at all. And I think this will be the place, whether I drape the sheet over the gate or not, or just lie it flat, I don't know. But what we attract this evening, we should get a decent selection of autumnal moths, so hopefully we'll get a lot of yellow. Whether we get any migrants, I don't know. There have been migrants last couple of days because conditions are very suitable for the next 2 nights. One of those nights being tonight. But as I say, clearing sky, a moon rising later. I thought it would be up now, but it isn't. Must be having a lie in. Well, that's one huge flock of pink-footed geese over there. That's enormous. Whether they just come out of Lincolnshire or Nottinghamshire, I'm not sure. But there's several hundreds there. Swans too, but just off screen. This is Misson Carr, 6th of October today, and a beautiful evening. We've got clear skies and we have a rising moon at some time, but the temperature is going to be decent, and I'm certainly going to give it a couple of hours here and see what we get. Not the slightest bit of breeze here. It's beautiful. And look at this for a sky. But absolutely beautiful. It's a little bit early yet. It's only 6:30. So I've got a bit of time to think about where I'm going to trap this evening. There's another big flock of pink-footed geese, not as large as the distant flock we saw at the start of the video, but there's well over 100 here just coming through. It's a fabulous sound, pink feet. And they're going north, so presumably these are going to roost. There's 3 skeins there. There's the large one at the front and then a smaller one behind that, but then one slightly larger following on. Never seen this before when I've trapped here in October. I've never seen such big numbers this time of year. But they'll be roosting somewhere in Yorkshire. It's a fabulous sound, it really is. The sound of autumn. Well, we're off and running at 7 PM, 1900 hours. It's a nice night, no breeze, not at the moment. And the light has just fired up. We await the first moth as the corvids come in to roost. and pink-footed geese are still going over. But it's moths we're after for the next few hours. Well, within the first 5-10 minutes or so, we've had 5 chestnuts and 2 green brindled crescents. It's perfect conditions for moths this evening. You'd struggle to get a better night, at least in October. So promising signs so far. Something else comes thudding in. Well, there's the moon rising, looking down the track, looking east, down the side of Misson Carr, and once that little bit of cloud has gone, there won't be a deal to go in front of what is pretty much a full moon. It's just a shame that we have the bright moon. That may well affect the number of moths coming in, but I'm yet to be totally convinced on that. But we do have moths coming in. Well, a nice number of moths are flying about Misson Carr and coming to the light. Top 2 species at the moment are chestnut and, new for the year, green brindled crescent. And there's a number of green brindled crescents that have come to the light, 5 in total so far, and say we're only just going, but 5 also of chestnut. Majority are generally singles. We've had pink-barred sallow has added the first touch of golden yellow to the proceedings, but it's just been what is a 3rd brood of vines rustic coming. They are doing particularly well now. One time a day, quite an uncommon moth in Nottinghamshire. Other species that's in very tatty square spot rustic, we've probably seen just about the last of those this year, and cetaceous Hebrew character. One has come in, and that was only just discernible as being a cetaceous Hebrew character. So, very promising signs. I hope this isn't going to be one of those nights that kicks off very, very promising and then all of a sudden dies a death. It may do. We'll have to see how we go. And at the moment, there's another green brindled crescent coming to add to the tally. Well, here's one of those beautifully coloured and marked autumn moths. This is a pink-barred sallow. The bar across the wings here isn't all that obvious, and it's made up of a series of blotches of a sort of a dark pinkish, almost plum colour. The background colour is a beautiful canary yellow, and they look quite waxy, but that could just be the light from the camera. There are 3 of these in at the light at the moment, and the autumn moths seem to be doing very well. So I'm pleased to get a chance to show this. Hopefully first of a number of which are going to come in this evening. But it might be very difficult to photograph or to film the moths, so you might be seeing more photographs inserted than actual footage. But we have this one at least. Well, we're doing very well. But there again, got lovely conditions despite the full moon somewhere up there. Moths are coming in nicely, nice and regular too. Not inundated with moths, although it is busy and there's always something to check, because there's something flying around here now. But most of the moths that have come in are green brindled crescent. We're on to 13 of those, and we're now up to 8 chestnuts. But there's been a range of moths that have come in, and the last one that's come in is a moth that I've never recorded before, and when Dillis was alive we never trapped it, and it's small wainscot. So that's a nice one. It'll be new for Misson as far as I'm aware, and it's, although the books often say that it's common, it's certainly not common in Nottinghamshire. I have seen the moth before, but it was a moth that Phil Cadman and other members of the Land Moth Group caught and brought down to Dillis and myself for photographing to put on the website, and that was trapped a few miles south of where we are here at the old Land gravel pits, or the Idle Valley Nature Reserve as it is now. So that's come in, which is nice. We're dominated by green brindled crescents, but there's a shuttle-shaped dart that's come in. But one of the nicest moths is a moth that I don't think I've attracted to light on any of these videos, and it's a grey shoulder knot. It's a moth that Dillis and I found the second Nottinghamshire record, I believe, at Ekrin a number of years ago, and that was after Martin Kennewell found it in the Newark area. So might be able to film that one because it's settled down quite nicely now. There's also a brick that's come in and been and gone, single sallow, 2 red-green carpets, which is always a nice moth to see. I don't know where they've gone, but and Redline Quaker, the first one of the autumn, has tucked itself right in the corner out of the way at the base of the light. Micros, white-shouldered house moth, I'll say. 2 of those, one completely tattered, almost to a point of beyond belief. Agonopteryx heracleana. 2 Epinotia nicella, which is a very attractive tortrix that does fly quite late in the year and is extremely variable too, and Blastobasis lacticolella. So I'm very pleased with what's coming. It's a lovely night, it's beautiful. So we'll see what else is going to come in. Could well get something unexpected this evening. Well, the moon looks about full to me. We're a few hours off. The flashing light that you can see in the lower left of the screen is the GoPro. If it comes out, you might even be able to see a bit of fancy time lapse, which I like doing actually. Brings a different aspect to these trapping videos. But a very nice night. There's just a slight breeze out here. Still good temperatures, 14 centigrade at the moment. And so the moths are still coming in. We're on to about 22 species now. Well, here's that grey shoulder knot. Nice to see actually, and a very attractive moth grey shoulder knot. Overall a very light grey background coloration, and there are various marks and shadings of grey on the wings. Quite often you can see this moth on the trunks of trees. They're not the best at camouflage. In fact, they've not learnt what camouflage is, and they stand out like sore thumbs. And I remember one at Ekrin that I think I found it sort of mid-December, and it stayed on the same tree trunk in the same place until New Year's Eve. So they can be active during the winter months and can turn up, but normally it's late and early in the year when you see them. We're just coming up to 2 hours, and it's done what I was hoping wouldn't happen, and that's the moths have stopped coming in at the moment. There's been very few moths arrive at the light in this last half an hour. Odd little bits. Just what we have, there's a light emerald in, but it's quite worn and faded. I will put a photo in because light emerald is an absolute beauty, and it's green. But there's an Ipsilophus species in somewhere as well on the sheet. And a Cleris variegana, that is also in, or a single specimen is in somewhere, but it's pretty much died a death, and something I thought might happen. But the moon is still, from here at least, behind the trees and shrubs, but it is starting to work its way around. But I'm going to give it longer than the 2 hours. Got plenty of tea, got plenty of biscuits, and just see whether the moth activity has pretty much ceased or not. It'd be nice if it hasn't, because we've had a nice night actually. It's been a very pleasant couple of hours. Hopefully my tea will be equally as pleasant. Alright, I'm quite near the light at the moment, just seeing if there's anything knocking around on the sheet that I've missed. And we're on 29 species at the moment, and I think that species number 30 has just been in and just hopped over the back. It was an Eclaris of a kind, probably Eclaris natana or ferragana, one of the two. But turnip moth has just come in. There's been a few moths come in actually in this last sort of half an hour. Say it's 9:30 at the moment, and yellowtail has just turned up, which is a partial second brood. I've never known it before, and I know people are reporting yellowtail and the odd brown tail too. So that has just come in. There's a common marbled carpet in, the light emerald we've mentioned, Eclaris rhombana, and another Eclaris as well, one that we had at Lound Wood on a recent trapping session, and that's Eclaris sparsana. It's rather just grey and rather indistinct, to be honest. But it's, all of a sudden, there's a few moths coming in now. But yeah, Ipsilofa turned out to be Ipsilofa ostella. But we went through about a period of about an hour where virtually nothing came in, just the odd moth. But in this last couple of minutes, there's been signs of a bit more activity. The temperature's 13 centigrade, so still fine. So we'll certainly give it till 2200 hours, and that'll take us up to 3 hours, and then we'll probably pack up at 3 hours. We're just coming up to 10 o'clock, 2200 hours, and I think we'll call it a night. Temperature's gone down to 12. It's just starting to feel a little bit damp and cooler, but it's been a really good night actually. Not had masses of moths, but there's been a steady stream of moths coming in, especially early on. That seems to be the theme of things at the moment, that there's more moths in that first hour than in the second or following third. So I'm going to have a steady pack up, and then we'll head for home.